What's up everybody, it's your boy Drone X Factor, and in today's video I'm going to tell you whether the DJI Mavic 2 Pro is for you. Now by now you've watched all the frills and all the fluffs from all the big YouTubers talking about their experience with the DJI Mavic 2 Pro, and for the most part 90% is very positive. As a matter of fact, I've seen guys like Casey Neistat and iJustine and We Talk UAV. These guys seem to actually prefer the Mavic 2 Zoom over the Mavic 2 Pro. Mavic 2 Zoom, that's another topic for another day. Check this link up here if you're interested in knowing if the Mavic 2 Zoom is for you. But if you're here, you're already interested or focused on the Mavic 2 Pro, probably because of its big, massive 1-inch sensor, which translates to, if you don't know by now, you can shoot absolutely great stills and beautiful videos in low light, sunrise and sunset videos. So now you're looking at the price, $14.99 for the drone with 1 battery, with the Fly More combination, which is another 2 batteries and some extra props and a multi-charger and a case and stuff like that. It comes up to about $1,759 plus tax. You're kind of in the Phantom 4 Pro budget there. Plus if you add DJI Refresh Care, that's another topic for itself. If you live in the United States, there are alternatives to DJI Refresh Care that might work better for you. If you can find an agent in your area, check out this link before you buy so you can check for a good alternative to DJI Refresh Care that might work in your favor. Now, what I intend to do is work it from price to value, meaning how much it costs and what it can do. Bring those two to scale and use what it can do based upon how much it costs to see if this is definitely worth upgrading or buying new for the first time for you. So first of all, the camera, 1-inch sensor, 20 megapixel, adjustable aperture f2.8 to f11, 100 megabits per second bit rate, 10-bit video, aka 1 billion colors versus the 8-bit, which gives you about 16 million colors. 1 billion colors versus 16 million colors. Big upgrade. The new A pass, the 4K HQ, which is like a cropped version to give you a little narrower field of view per se. Obstacle avoidance, that's almost everywhere. 1080 feet coming to your phone. Even on long range, compliments of the version 2.0 OcuSync technology, absolutely fabulous, which will also give you increased range and strength in high interference areas. I mean, a little bit of 8 gigabytes onboard storage. This drone has a lot of little features that it took from the Mavic Air, like the sticks coming off the controller to make it more portable, more compact. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the controller as we go further, because there's a few things I'd like to mention there. The new active track, which is even better than the DJI Mavic Air. Hyperlapse feature, which is totally awesome. Hyperlapse videos can take forever to make, and they really can be a little challenging if you don't have experience. This new feature from me is totally exciting and absolutely awesome. These are all the pros. This is basically what you're going to get for $14.99 with 1 battery. If you intend to use this for all your drone needs, then you will need to get the Fly More combo. So that will be the difference primarily with whether you shop $14.99 or you pay pretty much $1,759 for the Fly More combo. So I hope that eliminates which combination to get. The beauty with the Fly More combo is you can always try the drone out with the 1 battery, and the Fly More combo, because it works with both the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic Zoom, because they're pretty much the same drones except for the camera, the batteries are interchangeable. So the Fly More combos will work for either which one, and the Fly More combo sells separate, so you can always buy the drone and then add on the Fly More combo, which is pretty cool. I like the way DJI bundled that. The other thing is DJI talked about today that I didn't hear a lot of people talking about is the new trade-in option, where you can trade in your own drone and pick up a new one. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, how much value they're going to give you for your older drone, your older DJI drone. Of course, they're not going to take other brands, but that's definitely nice to know that they have something that they've created or in the process of creating that can possibly help facilitate us to get a newer model. All the positives are out there. It's all over YouTube. There are literally probably hundreds of videos by now that have been posted about all the positives about this drone and the great features. What about the negatives? The negatives play a big aspect, or the cons play a big aspect as to whether this drone is for you or not, whether it's worth spending the money or not. So let's go through some of the cons, or the things that you're not getting, so to speak. Now, you're not getting 60 frames a second. For me, that's a problem because I'm coming from a Phantom 4 Pro and I just fell in love with 60 frames a second. All my videos that I've shot with the Phantom 4 Pro has been 60 frames a second. So my eyes are used to it now, and I know 60 frames a second is not the go-to frame rate, especially Hollywood style, but for aerial, I really believe that 60 frames a second gives it like this smooth, buttery effect. Even if you downgrade it or low grade it to 30 frames a second or 24 frames a second when you're uploading, it still just looks better in my eyes, and I'm used to it by now. So you have to decide if that's a big deal for you. Probably you've had a Phantom 4 Pro and you've never shot in 60 frames a second, so you probably won't miss it. They give you that 10 bit rate, 1 billion colors. So you lose the frame rate, but you do definitely get more colors. And if you're a guy that likes to edit and your videos and color correction and stuff like that, you definitely will enjoy this feature. If you don't do much color correction in the post, well then you probably won't need or care for this much. One key thing that I was hopeful to see in this new DJI Mavic series was a new controller. Maybe a built-in screen. If not a built-in screen, maybe a different positioning where you can mount the phone in front as opposed to below the sticks. I never like mounting the phone below the sticks because I feel like I fly better with the sticks below and the screen above. That's just me. If it never bothered you, or you're coming from a Mavic Pro and you're already used to it, well then guess what? It's not going to be a big deal. But if you're coming from Pro, yes, it's going to take some adjusting and getting back used to the screen being at the bottom as opposed to the top, and not being able to tilt the screen without having to tilt the controller and adjust the positions of your hands. Those kind of little finicky things you'll probably take a little bit of getting used to. But like I said, if you're coming from a DJI Mavic Pro Platinum or the old Pro, then that won't be a problem. Now the other thing is no mechanical shutter. It's all electronic. If you're coming from a Phantom 4 Pro and you're thinking about going to this because of portability, you do benefit for portability. Portability is a huge factor. And if you can get a 1-inch sensor on a portable drone, everybody knows, and that's why everyone is craving for this 1-inch sensor. Now it's great that you do have control over the aperture, great for low light conditions, but what about this electronic shutter speed? You've lost the mechanical shutter speed. That means you can get some bending of your photos or videos, and also some lighting can be messed up in low light situations. If you're filming bridges or cities or anything with a lot of light surrounding, that light can mess up your shot or your video because you don't have that mechanical shutter versus the electronic shutter. If none of this makes sense to you and you don't really care about all this, you just want a little better low light photography and videos, then don't even bother with what I'm saying because it won't make much sense to you. But if you know the difference between mechanical and electronic shutter, and I'll leave a link below in case you want to check it out, then you're going to miss the mechanical shutter, especially when you're filming or taking shots of fast moving objects. But if you're coming from a Mavic Pro, definitely this is something that is of complete non-relevance to you because you've never experienced mechanical shutter. The side sensors are conditional, kind of like the Phantom 4 Pro sensors that are conditional, meaning this one here you can do a little bit more. The Phantom 4 Pro you can only do it in beginner mode and tripod mode. But with the Mavic 2 Pro, the sensors work in tripod mode and they also work in active track, which is great because when you're tracking something, you definitely want the side sensors to work. So that's great that it has it in those two modes. It would have been nice to have it all around while you're flying normally in P mode, but hey, it is what it is. They probably had to conserve on processing power or something to that effect, or they had to save some features in for the Phantom 5 if that's what they're working on. I don't know. Either which way, it's still nice to have some kind of protection at the sides. The top sensors are absolutely fabulous that they give you that, because you don't ever want to lose signal and then you're under a tree or something and the drone's going up to hit the tree. That's technology they've had in the Inspire series. Now it's great to see that they've incorporated it into the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic Zoom. Now that we've gone through a few of the pluses, a few of the minuses, now we have to come to a conclusion. Now, basically my recommendation to you is when it comes to whether you should purchase this drone or not. If you're coming from a Mavic Pro or a Mavic Pro Platinum and you just wanting to, or you've been urging to do a little bit more low light photography or video, and you want that camera just to give you that extra beauty in the evenings or even in the night, then definitely this is worth upgrading. But then the question comes to mind is, how often do you fly at night? You know, that's going to determine whether you will really benefit from this or not, because the side sensors don't work all that much. If you've been flying your Pro, then you've probably never had an accident going up, so the top sensors are great, but is it worth shelling out $1,500 at least right now? See where I'm going with this? So you really have to know in terms of the camera, because that's the main upgrade. Yes, you get a little bit more flight time, but when you look at all of these little things, they add up. They definitely do add up, but does it add up enough for you to make that change, for you to go and spend $1,500 or $1,750 right now to upgrade to the Fly More combo? It really boils down to how much night flying you do. Now, when it comes to me, I fly day and night, and I fly almost every single day. So it will definitely make a huge deal for me. And I think portability is something that everyone can benefit from across the board. Portability is a huge factor. It doesn't matter who you are and where you are. Portability is just a plus no matter how you look at it. So this is a great plus, but in terms of what you're losing for that portability, you're losing basically the frame rate. You're losing basically, if you have a Pro Plus, you're losing the screen. You're losing the positioning of your phone if you don't have a Pro Plus. You know, you're losing these types of things. You're losing your 60 frames a second. You're losing your mechanical shutter. So for me, I would strongly recommend you reconsider going from a Phantom 4 Pro to the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. Now, if you're gonna get this as an add-on to be walking with every day, and you're gonna take your Pro when you're doing more bigger trips, then that's fine. Get the one battery for $1,500 and take it with you everywhere. You know that if you see anything, you can always capture it. You have something that's portable with a very capable camera, which is something we've been longing for a long time. But if this is a deciding factor of, do I get rid of my Pro to get do I get rid of my Phantom 4 Pro to get the Mavic 2 Pro? I would say no. There's no hurry, because you've been doing without the portability. This one has a slight little bit more features, and the only thing you're really losing on this that the new drone has, camera-wise, is that 10-bit. And most televisions, most electronics, YouTube, they all display an 8-bit. So unless you're doing a massive amounts of color correction, then you might not want to jump over to this, because that's the only thing that camera has really that the Phantom 4 Pro and advanced camera does not. So what does this have that's so compelling if the camera only has that one feature that the Pros don't have, that the advances don't have? It's the portability, guys. How important does portability come down to you? And then the time-lapse shots. How many time-lapse do you really take? Because the time-lapse feature looks absolutely awesome. The A-Pass, all of these little things, like I said, they add up. But do they really add up that much to you? Like, how many time lapses? Ask yourself questions like this. How many time lapse have I taken from day one since I've had my Phantom or my Mavic Pro to now? Is it something I've always wanted to experiment with? Is that cool feature, along with the A-Pass, along with the upward obstacle avoidance, is it really, really that much? Because you look at other drones like the Powered Anafi, that doesn't even have a sensor. And people are using it, and a lot of people are using it because of the zoom feature to get the shots that they want. And we'll talk about that when we talk about the Mavic 2 Zoom in another video. Check this card right up here, and that'll take you to the Mavic 2 Zoom video. See what I'm saying? So it all boils down to let this information absorb and really decide. I would make a list. Hey, this on the left is what's must have for me, like no compromise. And then see which drone has most of the things that you're willing not to compromise on. And if portability is something that you definitely can't compromise on, then you probably won't own one of these anyway, and you probably have a Mavic Pro, and you'll probably jump up to that. Guys, this is your boy Drone X Factor. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. Give me a thumbs up if this video was helpful or leading you in the right direction. List any questions you have in the comment section that's really bothering you. Everyone's individual case is a little bit different when it comes to making decisions. If there's anything that I didn't mention here that you'd like to know, mention it in the comment section or reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you have. Also, head over to my Patreon account because I plan to give away 6 DJI Mavic 2 Pros. 6 DJI Mavic 2 Pros. Become a patron. It's $1 a month. That's it. When I have about 1,800 patrons on my account, and it does pay out that $1,800, I'm headed straight to the DJI Mavic store, buy a brand new DJI Mavic 2 Pro, and box it off, pick a winner on Patreon, and send it right out to them. I won't even open it or touch it. Brand spanking new. This is my way of sharing the good new technology with you guys, and this is a way for you to help support me and the content that I make, so it works hand in hand. I hope this video is helpful. Do hit like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video coming very soon, where I'll be talking the DJI Mavic 2 Zoom.